up, everyone? Welcome to another installment of IHateTomNazara.com. So, as you guys know, we've been trying to get Tom's car ready for final bout and my car ready for final bout, which is we leave in less than a week at this point, and we have to paint his whole car and some other things. And well, we spent all morning masking the chassis, but that means now we have to prep all of the fiberglass components, which there's quite a bit, because tonight we're gonna prime the chassis and we're gonna prime all the fiberglass. Everything's getting in primer tonight. We're gonna make it happen. I don't care. We're gonna be here late, but it's gonna work. Once it's in primer, we can prep all the primer and then we can paint it. It's so easy. It's too easy. But for now, we're gonna sand all of this fiberglass.
And last piece, partially masked.
Ripped through the plastic.
On the purple car, we tried not to prime the fiberglass, and guess what? It didn't like it. There was a lot of fish eyeing in it. It kind of looks like booty. So of course on Tom's kit, we're gonna primer all the fiberglass to make sure it comes out good. But we have to give a good surface for the primer to actually stick to. So we're just gonna scuff all the fiberglass up nicely with some 320, and that just gives a nice mechanical bond for the primer to adhere to. And then we'll sand the primer nice and smooth. It'll look great. It'll look beautiful for Tom to rip off and
2 laps.
And then Josh run over. This is drifting, baby. It's part of it. We got all the fiberglass prepped, which felt like it would never end, but we're good to go. Now we gotta be careful when we prep that, because the more we sand off the gel coat, the more likely we are to have pinholes in the fiberglass that's gonna happen, so go sparingly. We're gonna use that high build primer to hopefully fill it all up, and we get to sand it all over again. But just like the fiberglass, we need to make sure that the entire car has a good mechanical bond, so we're gonna take a Scotch-Brite on this, now that all the big stuff is off and the body work is done. We're gonna Scotch-Brite basically the entire thing, and this would give it a nice surface for the paint to bite to. And Spoon's fixing that really bad hatch that Tom got us. All right, so we used the 320 to basically smooth everything out and give it a nice biting surface for the paint, but we're gonna use the Scotch-Brite to kind of just solidify the fact that we got every nook and cranny of this thing. The Scotch-Brite will get into every little crevice and just scratch it up enough that you barely even see it, but enough that the paint likes to bite onto it. So I see Brian rubbing stuff on these doors. Brian, what are we doing over here, buddy?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet? Just like a Morris. You are the father. What is this stuff? It's been saving my ass for years, I know that.
It's made to remove like tiny pinholes in your filler and tiny scratches.
Makes your Bondo look dirty because it's like filling all those imperfections in.
Exactly. So back in the day, before this stuff existed, you used to have to go back with a finishing glaze and like a razor blade and fill all these tiny pinholes manually, which sucked.
Just that last little bit to make your bodywork come out that much nicer. No, it's just gonna be primer and obviously just gray, but to see this chassis and all these parts in one color is gonna like be mind-boggling after all the work we put into this thing. This is what we tried to avoid doing on the purple coupe, but when duty calls. So we got a lot of stuff to spray. We got the bumpers, rear overs, front overs, hatch, side skirts, doors, chassis.
Every single panel.
Every single panel. Usually this takes like 2 stages in a paint booth because most paint booths are too small to obviously do all of that. But luckily we have this giant Oaks Crotch paint booth. Everything's covered that needs to be covered. We're gonna cover the black coupe, don't you worry. Red Porsche. It's gonna be fun. There's gonna be no overspray, it's gonna be dusty, honestly. Like the primer isn't nearly as bad as base clear. It usually tends to just kind of fall.
And we're not doing that in here.
And we're not doing that in here. That stuff we will actually do in a booth. For the sake of time and convenience, we're gonna spray it in here. Remember, you're shooting these things with an air cannon when you're painting them, so make sure they are securely fastened to your body stands. or else you're gonna have a bad time. All right, it's masked, it's clean, it's all taped down so things don't go flying. And now it's time to get the gun for my boy Brian. We start mixing some primer.
Oh, yes, I'm ready.
The box of goodies.
And this. Grab some of those.
There's a lot of bare metal on this car, and you can't just put any primer to bare metal. It won't adhere properly. So you have to get direct to metal primer, which we got. Because we got a lot of bare metal.
We got it. Oh.
In a perfect world, we would have epoxied the car, but this would be.
We don't have that kind of time.
What's another 14-hour day on this car? I lost count. What a B-Hall chemistry. Yep, just do what I feel.
Cocktail.
If you catch the next drop on shopjamiro.com with the new Porsche tee on it and it smells like primer, I don't want to hear it. Alright, well, there's nothing to it but to do it. Brian's got a lot of surface area to cover, so we're going to let him do his thing. Hopefully he doesn't get tangled in this maze with this hose. But he's got his arms got tired. We got two other painters hanging around. We'll tag them in. You don't get to see Brian on the gun too often, but dude's nice with it. Look at the wrist work.
That shit looks thick. And not the good Latino thick either.
With this, delete all my images of rust. This is it. Whatever is left, it is now sealed. Shut up. We did really good. We did really good on this part. Are you starting to forget how many coats you've done on each panel yet? There's so many goddamn panels.
I haven't finished 2 coats on the whole car yet.
Really?
The doors, one side skirt, the hatch.
Okay, so I'm happy he's locked in because I lost track a long time ago. All right, another long day, but a lot accomplished. Getting all this in primer today is such a massive win. We have so much work ahead of us still. We still have to sand and prep every single panel. Then obviously clean, remask, bring it to Brian's booth and paint it, but getting this done by Tuesday is huge. So we're on track, we're doing good. Everything laid really good. All the fiberglass, everything sprayed out, looks incredible. I couldn't be happier. We already sprayed everything with guide coat, so when we go to sand it, we know where the hell we've already sanded. You could probably see on camera like the little black mist on there. Yeah, it laid out so good. A lot of primer on these things, so we shouldn't have hopefully a bunch of breakthroughs, and it really helped fill in all the crevices. Doors look great. Roof looks great. That's the one panel we wanted to look good was the roof, and this thing was destroyed, so couldn't be happier. A-pillar's good. The rust, it's gone. It's gone, and if there's any bit of rust left that we didn't see, it's sealed and out of sight, out of mind. So my shop is totaled, but it's only gonna get worse when we start sanding, and then we'll just do one big clean and it'll be good to go. I know we get suggested like a blow-up paint booth a lot, but we don't do enough paint work in the shop to make it worth it, and I don't want to do a lot of paint work in the shop. So big win today. Huge shout out to Brian for spending all that time spraying today. Did an amazing job, and I couldn't be happier. So all right, let's go sleep, wake up, because we got some more work to do. All right, back to it. More fun begins. So now that everything's in primer, we have a base to work on. Now we're gonna sand the primer smooth so the paint that lays on it looks good. And well, we got a lot of parts. Only about half of them can fit in the booth at a time. And so we're gonna start by prepping the pieces that will go in the booth first, which is going to be the car itself. And then of course the doors too, chassis and doors. Boom, we'll get those prepped today, and then whatever else we have time for. So all the parts we're gonna see, we wanna do really nice. Sand it with 320, sand it with 600, spray it. Pieces that we're not gonna see, like underneath the over fender and the rear body panel, we're probably just gonna scuff so the paint adheres to. We don't gotta make sure the paint looks incredible. And of course the roof, we want the roof to look good. Roof's gotta look good, so let's cover everything and primer dust. Many moments later, we got all the tight crevices done by hand, right? So we got inside the jambs, we got the A-pillar up in here, inside the hatch, we got the whole rear body panel, all the stuff that we can't get with the DA. Now the big surface area stuff, we're gonna do with the DA because it obviously has a lot of surface area and goes fast. That stuff we don't have to do by hand. It'll be nice, has a nice flat surface, so don't kind of dig our fingers into it. But you know, the goal here is to knock down all the orange peel that is left from spraying the primer, right? Because you got to give a good foundation for your paint, because your paint is only going to look as good as your primer, right? This is, if you want a nice paint job, this is the important step, right? Obviously body work is very important, but in terms of making sure it lays nice and looks good, so you got to take your time. And honestly, the goal is to knock it down, but also you don't want to have any breakthroughs. Like, you're gonna get spots like here. They're kind of hard to avoid, but you got to avoid them as much as possible. So you got to take your time and make it nice. Today is maybe one of those days I think I hate Tom the most, but it'll be worth it. Then we need the little crevices in the doors. All right, Y'all, what do you think?
You guys are doing great. Everybody's doing great.
So the chassis, the doors, and the combat eyes are completely in 320 now, which is awesome. So we're gonna go back over and do everything 600. So because Brian wants it nice and smooth.
Oh, it's just the color. It's like a light.
Yeah, it's not
metallic.
Really forgiving.
Yeah.
So, but we're making good time. And we will be painting this at Brian's shop, which we have. I haven't been to a shop in maybe 3 years, which is.
I haven't been to my shop other than to either pick up my drift car or my girlfriend's drift car and change the oil.
If you guys have been around for a long time, Brian has a homemade paint booth that actually works quite well. He's painted quite a few cars out of there. Wish me luck.
Yeah, you're gonna need it.
All right, you guys have seen enough B-roll of us sanding, so let's do this up in 600 and get to it. All right, 5 hours of sanding later and we got a lot done. I'm so happy. All of these panels are good to go, prepped. I've been kind of just hand sanding all the annoying crevices so that Spoon can come over with the DA and just blast the piece. The bumpers are almost finished, and yeah, whatever. Enough paint updates. You guys are probably sick of it, but now is the time that we have to head up to Brian's shop and make a path to his paint booth and clean out the paint booth a little bit. Like I said before, I haven't been there in a really long time, and it's never been the cleanest shop as many times as we tried to clean it for him. So, you ready?
No.
Yeah, I brought reinforcements, but yeah, it'll be good. Dude, it's been a long time. Guess what? It hasn't changed at all outside. So Brian just warned me that he recently has an infiltration of spiders. So I hope you're not.
Great.
Oh my God, Brian's Corrado. I haven't seen this car in like 5 years. I forgot he had to take it from his mom. Okay, this is trip down memory lane. It's probably been 6 years since I've seen this car. Oh, look at this thing, dude. Brian bought this Corrado when he was like, I think he was like 17 or 18. If you guys have been watching the channel for a long time, you guys know I have a soft spot for these cars. They're probably one of the coolest cars ever made. You never see any of them. And like when I met Brian, he had this car. Like to me, he was the man. Like Brian's still the man, but you know what I mean. Like when I was younger, I was like, damn. And he did the Volkswagen thing and like fully bay shaved it, delete the rain tray, everything, and it just turned into one of those projects that kind of like, you know, it's sat. Things happen in life, but he still wants to like real drive convert this thing one day. And like I think if you're gonna do a rear-wheel drive conversion of any Volkswagen, I think the Corrado would be the one because it looks like it was meant to be rear-wheel drive, you know?
It was the coolest Volkswagen already.
Yeah.
You just make it cool.
Exactly. I feel like you're going somewhere that you're not allowed to go.
Shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, this is spider webs like right here. I think it's better than I thought. This shop always had such a cool aura to it though, because it's so like industrious, but you know, it's kind of turned into the thing where we've always known it's always been a messier space. So Brian, every time Brian works on his car, he'll just bring it to my shop and we'll get it done. Yeah, I mean, we've been building his car at DJ's shop, which is good. I like having him down there. Is this all the lighting we have? No. Okay, so Brian's homemade paint booth. It's actually awesome. He's painted a couple cars. He's painted quite a few cars in here, and it works really, really well. There's a huge exhaust fan in the back. There we go. The lights are kicking on. There we go. There we go. Haven't seen a Z46 in a while. We got to move all this stuff.
Everything.
Could be worse.
I was expecting worse.
I was expecting worse. I couldn't be more grateful that Brian's letting us use his space like this. I know I feel like I'm ripping on Brian a little bit about his space, but Brian's one of my best friends. I can rip on him all I want. That's just what best friends do. But Jordy, we gotta move all of this. What was that? Let's get the energy up. Let's get it work. All right. Oh my God. All right, so we got a path cleared, which is good. This is very good news. I found my missing wheels, which is nice. And we got the booth cleaned, right? So this is Brian's booth right here. We have 2 big exhaust fans, got a lot of good lighting. Obviously it's enclosed. We have Brian's paint stuff. We got the air hose, we have everything we need. Me and Jordy just cleaned the crap out of it. I feel like there's spiders inside of me. The amount of spiders
crawling on your skin.
They're in my skin. We wiped down all the walls, the ceiling, sprayed everything a bunch, had the fans going. I think we got it pretty damn clean. Honestly, like it might look pretty crude, but I swear to God, the cleanest paint jobs come out of situations like this. You'll put it in a fresh booth and you'll get all this dirt in your paint and you bring it to a garage like this and it's gonna be the cleanest paint job. So let's hope, but I mean, I can't thank Brian enough for letting us use his facilities like this. This is huge. Like obviously we can spray primer here and there, but like doing base and clear, it's brutal. And so having a good lit space like this that can contain it is absolutely huge. Brian, thank you so much. We love you, buddy. This is it. We're gonna make it happen, and that's all we could do. Our timeline's tight. We couldn't rent a booth, and this is gonna get it done. I couldn't be happier. So, all right, let's get to the shop, get everything cleaned up, and well, get the car in the booth. Hell yeah. Chassis prepped, ready to go. Spoon scuffed the whole chassis down when we were gone, and now basically this thing is ready to get sprayed. So we gotta get this thing cleaned up on the trailer, out to Brian's shop and in the booth, and we are gonna get straight to work.
Should we get you a booster seat?
Yeah, all right. Just let me know if I'm gonna hit anything.
Ramp came out.
Well, that's the worst thing that could have happened. Get the jack. Car loaded up, and just our luck, there is one random small rain cloud above us. Right, it's just raining. So that great timing, Tom. I don't. This is not good juju. This is not good juju. It should pass. It should pass. What the hell? Like, what are the odds of that, dude? We don't think we're gonna fit much in the booth other than the chassis. I was hoping to get the doors in there too, but we'll wait on that one. But getting the chassis in color is the first major hurdle. So this is the part where there's an insane amount of masking. All the rest of the parts are easy. Those are throw in the booth, clean them, spray them. This thing, it's gonna take a while. So
Yeah, hopefully it's not too bad. I mean, you've done enough of this over the last
I've done enough to know how long it takes.
while.
It's going smoothly. We've done a lot of work today.
It's funny that we were priming it yesterday.
What was that?
It's funny that we primed it yesterday and we'll be painting it today.
Dude, me and
It's like
Spoon-
totally normal for me. Like
Yeah, in a production
but
shot.
like for you guys, it's never the next day.
Dude, me and Spoon were on hyperdrive today, so.
Yeah, you guys did work. You
Yeah.
guys definitely did work today.
Right, what do you think of our cleanup job?
You guys did great. This is looks awesome.
We broomed the ceilings, the walls, everything.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna say, did you do the?
Spider webs?
Well, I knew there was spider infestation.
The booth looks pretty big until there's a car in it, and then it shrinks pretty damn fast. I was like, oh no, we could fit all the doors, everything. Oh, we probably could have fit the doors. No, it's tight. Booth is clean, Brian's getting set up, so now we gotta remask the car. Let's get, what was that?
And that's it.
That's it. And wipe her down and start spraying. That's as easy as it is, right? So let's start taping her up. You guys have seen me do this too much. Taped, draped, and now it's time to cut it. What's the third word that could rhyme with drape?
Great.
No, it's taped, draped, and now it's gonna get
Craped.
craped. Okay. There we go. We're masked up fully. We're cleaning currently, getting everything situated where it needs to be. You guys have seen the paint process a million times. Once we get this thing fully cleaned, we got to seam seal it. Before we paint, we got to throw a seam sealer on it. So there's a couple crevices of rust that is neutralized, but there's some pinholes that we're gonna hide with some seam sealer. Good old-fashioned trick, they'll never know. A couple crevices here and here where we did the body work, you know, to hide the little edges and stuff. And then we start laying chemicals down. And you guys know, once the chemicals start, it don't stop for many hours. So it's gonna be a long night, but to get this thing already in paint was kind of ridiculous. And we're doing a nice ass job. Like, we did a way nicer job on Tom's car than my coupe. Like the coupe we didn't do a bad job on, but we're like, oh, it's cool, we'll get together quick. It's a drift car, we just want to get together. And Tom's car, we're like, we're gonna do, like, if we're doing this, we're gonna do it good. So I'm excited to see it. Get it in there. You got the brush already?
Yeah, what's the fuck? What do you think this is?
That's it. Make it look OEM, you know? They'll never know.
Yeah, what about this bullshit?
Yeah, see that? Yeah, fill that hole. Definitely fill that out.
This is a scam.
What was that?
We're running a scam here.
This is the, you know, Staten Island special.
We told Tom we fixed everything perfect. Charged him $25,000. Automotive restoration.
No way. Only person I scammed is myself on this project.
No, 100%. You got me too.
These seams are super important because this is a seam where water could potentially sit, right? If you have a seam, water's gonna get in it and it's gonna rust between it. So if it looks like water could potentially or moisture could sit there, just put seam seal on it. It's one step before paint and it goes a long way. It doesn't look bad once it's covered up either way. It just looks OEM. Unless you do a real dodgy job, OEM looks a little dodgy sometimes.
Look at that dodgy weld you did.
No?
Somebody did.
No, those welds were A1. I was welding the rust. What do you expect from me?
Oh, dodgy grind job, I should say.
That was the last thing I did, all right? I was over it. Spot like this, super important. Not only because we did a bunch of welding there, but because water will be sitting in there. It needs to be sealed. We want this car to last. Well, last longer than
Long enough for Tom to kill it.
Yeah, long enough for Tom to kill it. Before we lay base coat down, we got to use a sealer. What a sealer does is it basically makes everything one color, right? Because right now, if you look, we have these shiny metal parts that are sticking out. Sometimes you have different colored panels here and there if you're just scuffing them before you shoot them. And if we paint over that, the differences in colors underneath the base coat will show. It'll be brighter where the silver is, it'll be darker where the black marks are. And so we spray everything with a light coat of sealer, and it makes it all one color, so the base coat is uniform and looks the same everywhere.
Smooths out any final surface imperfections, and
it's nice. Really, it's a primer we don't have to sand, which is amazing.
Yeah, well, it also gives the base coat something nice to bite onto because it's kind of a wet on wet application, so it helps like prevent rock chips and shit like that too.
Yeah, we love that. So sealer, it's a saving grace. If you don't use it, you'll know. The nice thing about sealer too is you can kind of change the color of your paint a little bit, because if you use a bright sealer like a white one or a bright silver versus using like a darker sealer, it'll actually brighten or darken your paint. So if you wanted like a darker shade, just use a darker sealer. If you wanted a brighter shade like the color we're doing, pops really nice with a really light base. So it's a cool little thing. As you can tell, our sealer is quite bright. Really make that color shine. Gun stop, so either he's out of sealer or it's sealed. Let me just contaminate the paint real quick. Ooh, back to one color, B. Look at that, it's all one color. So when you lay the paint, it'll be all one color. So I was tempted to like leave the color secret and make it this big thing at the end, but there's no secret. We're repainting the car the same color. It's gonna be Millennium Jade, which is probably one of my favorite colors of all time. Nissan killed on this color. You guys know we did it on the 8.6. It was the previous color. Tom has tried to change his color and it never feels the same, so he keeps going back to Millennium Jade, and I think it's this car and Millennium Jade is just, it's so Tom, you can't change it. Can you picture Tom with another color?
I told him last time he changed the color, I told him I was like the first person to tell him it looked like shit.
So Millennium Jade it is, but that being said, seeing fresh Millennium Jade being laid, it's gonna be good, and I'm very excited for it. There she is. I never realized how metallic this paint was. That's wild. That's it, baby. Millennium Jade. First coat of base coat. We're about to see a crazy transformation. And honestly, like, this is such a great part. This is such an insane part because it takes so much to get to this step. Guys, Brian laid down a beautiful layer of base. I'm running out of words. Oh my god, my camera lens. I feel like the camera's not doing it justice. I'm looking through the viewfinder and you can't see the color in it for shit. But the base looks good, but of course don't leave just yet, because the real magic happens once you start laying down clear. That's where it really brings depth to the paint and really starts to make this thing look incredible. All right, this thing's cleared, and it's crazy because not only does it look wet, it actually changed the color a little bit. It looks a little bit more green, which I was expecting to see because it was looking pretty gold prior. And well, I hope you can tell on camera, because here it is. Oh, you could definitely see it on camera. It was hard to see the color before, but
yeah, without clear, you're just never gonna get that depth that you need from like a metallic color, right?
It looks good, dude. It looks really, really good. The bodywork, the lay, everything. It looks amazing.
Obviously, I focused on the stuff that mattered: the roof, the headlight covers, the rockers. Obviously, cleared the whole rest of the car.
It's so nice to see that. I'm so happy we did the jams. Like having color. Oh, it's like having color match jams makes the car feel so much nicer.
Yeah, I put clear over the VIN.
Oh yeah. That's sick. Tom usually does his jams black just to make things easier, and then you paint the car with the panels and stuff on. And I get it, but this car, we've done so much to it. I really wanted to paint the jams, and I mean, we rewrote the energy of this car. We got rid of its whole past. You know what I mean?
I mean, they always say like if a car could talk, the stories it would tell, and it would be cool to know like the story, because this thing's been all over the country, and it was destined for the junkyard. Has a completely new lease on life.
Oh, look at it. And then even like this, there was a giant hole here, and look at that. Now that it's in paint, you would never ever know. I mean, the hole. You guys remember the giant hole on the roof that we were so freaked out about, and then boom.
It's not perfect, but it's not a hole.
It's a lot better than most S chassis, I'll tell you that. Like, once we bring it outside and you see it in the natural light, it's obviously gonna really pop. Like, you guys have seen this color before. It's incredible. And the chassis is finally painted. Underneath, fully basically restored and sealed.
That was nice. The tape actually stuck to the bottom of the car.
That's
nice. It was so nice.
The engine bay, fully derusted, sealed, painted good. The inside, neutralized, sealed good. Coming out amazing. We still have a lot of work to do, but I mean, it's finally like coming to fruition.
I bet you feel good. You feel a lot better.
A lot better. Getting there. It was I mean, now it's midnight, which means it was another 14-hour day on this car. A lot of those, but. And then you see glass in it, and you're like, oh. You see the body panels on, you're like, oh. You get delivery on it, it's like, ooh. Like
I mean, right now we're feeling it. We're still gonna feel it for the rest of the week. But you know, you don't meet people like Tom all the time. There's only a few times in a lifetime you meet a good friend like Tom, or like you are to me, where it's like, if you need something, dude, I'm there for you.
We're gonna make it happen.
You know, the favor's gonna come back my way.
Exactly. I know we bust Tom's balls all the time, but that's our boy, and he's one of the hardest working guys I know. And I'm happy to do this. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be good.
I honestly wish I was going to Wisconsin with you guys.
No, you don't want to witness what he's gonna do to this car.
Well, I'll be excited to see the clips after.
Well, you guys have heard me yap enough in the last 48 hours. Me and Brian had our little moment in the booth, but another really long day, but it was worth it. Really, really good results. We're doing great. We're trying to get this car done so we can get it liveried up Sunday, and it's looking pretty good. We're gonna hopefully do the rest of the parts tomorrow if we could fit them all in the booth. Assemble it Friday and Saturday, livery Sunday, and then everything's great. I need sleep. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all you guys who've been watching this series. Obviously without you guys watching it, I wouldn't be able to do this and make this all happen, so I appreciate you guys massively. I know you guys just saw S chassis stuff, like the similar process to my other car, but we've had a good time. We've had some great personalities. We have a lot of good hands on deck, and it's been a good time. So for now, you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll see you guys very shortly.